All right, guys, let's get into it. So let's have a little look, a little bit of a deep dive, an exploration into this new set from Imprint Asia, featuring the 3 Erotic Ghost Story movies from the Erotic Ghost Story Trilogy 1990 to 1992. The first one being 90, the second one being 91, the third one being 92. So first off, we'll unbox it. We'll have a look at each release, but obviously this has come to Imprint Asia and it's a limited edition 3-disc hardbox featuring all 3 movies, the sensual and supernatural category 3 movies. Now the first of which takes influence, I should say, from the Witches of Eastwick, and as the blurb on the box will tell us, it explores the lustful desires of spirits, demons and humans alike. Now there's plenty of swordplay, obviously weird, wacky comedy, just the usual kind of Chinese, vivid and surreal imagery, but also, you know, quite provocative themes. And I think the website says colourful orgies, the colourful orgies of the Erotic Ghost Story Trilogy. Now this is limited to 1,500 copies, as I said, from Imprint Asia, and they usually do a great job with these sets. Obviously it comes in a hard box, and tells us there that it's numbers 10, 11 and 12 in this Imprint Asia series. But good glossy front cover there, featuring imagery from all 3 movies, right the way around the back. The back of the box has a bit of a card stuck to it with some, just a tiny bit of glue. Also some imagery on the back of there. And I won't read this. We'll get into this as we discuss each film, but you can remove that obviously, and I think that's small enough to insert back into the box. So for a collector, that's a pretty important thing, that kind of piece of material is not just going to get tattered and lost to time. So some specs on the back of there, the bottom of there, sorry, and we'll have a little look into the box. But obviously, if you're familiar with Via Vision and Imprint Asia, these boxes, you know, they always do a great job, always quite solid, and it'll just house inside the 3 movies. So let's take a look and see what we've got. So we'll just position those over there. So we'll start with, we've got 2 and 3. So let's have a quick look at Erotic Ghost Story. So this is Erotic Ghost Story from 1990. This was the one that was based on the Witches of Eastwick, and the blurb for it is basically 3 vixens have meditated for 1,000 years to be able to shed their animal natures and become human. For the final month of their rigours, they have moved near a village where women pray to a god of fertility. One of the sisters visits the god's temple and thinks lustful thoughts, and as she leaves, a priest confronts her, warning her of dire consequences and of demons that will try and stop the vixen's transformation. So yeah, sounds pretty intriguing, and I'm quite sure, I'm just going to double check that there's no imagery on there that's going to upset anybody or upset YouTube, and certainly beneath the disc I don't think there's anything there. Let me have a little look. We'll pop that out. No. But yeah, a little kind of gist of what you're going to get in these movies, kind of, because they are totally nuts, and I won't speak too much about them right now, but we'll speak a little bit about that in the review part of this. But this is obviously Erotic Ghost Story from 1990. You know, obviously cover art, disc art all the way throughout. The numbered spine there, if that picks up. Obviously Imprint, the year of release. And in terms of special features on this, obviously again it's Imprint, so you know you're going to get some decent features here. Obviously a 1080p high definition presentation of the original, I think it was the original 89-minute Cantonese language version, but there's also an alternate 95-minute Mandarin language version on here, which is pretty cool. Brand new to this set is an audio commentary by cult film critic Ian Jane, and also new is From Erotic to Extreme, Costume Drama Meets Category 3, an interview with film historian Paul Foneroff. So I'm really looking forward to that. Love myself a good making of documentary. I think is there a trailer on there as well? A trailer on there, image gallery, usual bits and pieces. But yeah, so that's Erotic Ghost Story from 1990. So obviously next up we have Erotic Ghost Story 2 from the following year, 1992. And again, the blurb, we've got Wu-Tang, a sex demon of all things, of course, falls for a mortal girl, but when the gods learn of this love, they turn her into ashes, and Wu-Tang, enraged by the loss, terrorizes a nearby village and demands a virgin sacrifice every month, and only Yu Ying, a young girl with mysterious birthmark, can potentially end Wu-Tang's reign. So obviously in a similar vein to the first one, released a year later again. Inside artwork, disc art, the spine featuring the numbers and the year of release. And again, great special features on here, great new special features anyway. New audio commentary on here by filmmaker Callum Waddell. New interview with the art director Raymond Lee and assistant Cyrus Ho, along with a new interview with writer Casey Chan. And you've obviously got a new alternate 92-minute Mandarin language version on here, along with trailers and things like that. So that's the second part of Erotic Ghost Story, or a second part of the trilogy, I should say. And finally, in the set, you've got Erotic Ghost Story 3 from 1992. Let's have a little look at the blurb on this one. So, Chu Chung, a wandering adventurer, falls in love with a beautiful girl he sees in a portrait. With the help of a local monk endowed with magic powers, he's able to cross the human spiritual barrier and enter the painting. Little does Chu Chung know that he is walking into a trap set by the archdemon Vixen. So, just again, further crazy Chinese erotic mystical madness in this one. If we crack this one open, further inside artwork and disc art on there. So really well done throughout, really great presentation for all of these films. And again, this features an audio commentary with filmmaker Callum Waddell and an interview with the art assistant Cyrus Ho. This has the alternative 77-minute Mandarin language version on it. And also, one of the things that I'm really looking forward to on this set is a documentary called Category 3, The Untold Story of Hong Kong Exploitation Cinema. So really looking forward to that. And also, what's the interview with Rick Baker on here, Cantonese Carnage interview with Rick Baker. So very much looking forward to checking that out. Obviously, all of these films, you can watch them in the kind of Cantonese language or the Mandarin language, or you can watch them or you can also have them with the optional English subtitles, which of course is going to be the case if you're a little bit like me and you haven't brushed up on your Mandarin or Cantonese recently. But yes, that's the 3 Erotic Ghost Story movies. Another great set from Imprint Asia, Asia Spines, together with your numbers. And obviously, this box is extraordinarily durable and thick, so they all get to slot in there very nicely. And like I said, the card here, once you remove this bit of glue, which I'll attempt to do just quickly, it came off quite painlessly, will of course slot into there as well, I think. And then you've got your whole set just ready to feature nicely on your shelf as part of your Imprint Asia collection or your Asian cinema collection as a whole, which this makes, just an excellent addition to. So yeah, that's the set itself. Great looking set, some crazy Asian exploitation cinema in there. Now let's have a quick chat about the movies themselves. So we're going to start with Erotic Ghost Story from 1990, and this is a Hong Kong horror comedy that blends the supernatural with eroticism, creating a pretty odd and unique fusion of genres. The film's story revolves around 3 women who are ancient animal spirits in their final days of becoming human, but their transformation is threatened when they all fall for the same man, a scholar named Wu Ming, who, don't you hate it when this happens, ends up being a wicked demon in disguise. Now, what's most remarkable is how the spooky and supernatural elements are blended with no shortage of nudity, sexual tension, and some explicit moments. So yeah, not for all tastes this, and certainly not one for family movie night. Especially here, when the loving ends, the women witness Wu Ming in his true form as Wu Tung, a monstrous three-faced monster who tears the skin off women's faces. So cue some crazy voodoo doll flavoured revenge and some exploding demons and some visual effects that will probably boggle your mind if it's not already after 90 minutes of Rudy's. Now, I was going to say that you may think the plot initially seems a bit bizarre or exploitative, but of course it is. These kind of movies thrive on campiness. The performances from the cast, including actresses like Amy Yip, over the top, no question, but the work within the eccentric, shall we say, nature of the film. It's an unusual and often shocking ride, excuse the pun, that absolutely revels in its boundary-pushing blend of genres. And if you thought that was over the top, we have Erotic Ghost Story 2 in here from 1991, directed by Yu Wing. This is, of course, the second instalment in the series and stars Anthony Wong as the sex demon Wu Tang. Sex demon. Who ends up demanding a virgin from a village every month or he'll kick off. Good work if you can get it. Now, these films do, to be fair, do a good job of balancing both eerie atmospheres with camp naughtiness. Now, I'm not sure I mentioned this when talking about the first film, but the production design and costumes are great here. Loads of period-specific costumes and makeup on show. Now, if you've seen any of these movies or movies from the same subgenre, you already be expecting some uneven pacing, a reliance on suggestive imagery over actual narrative coherence, and all of them are category 3 rated movies, which is an 18 in the UK, I think. Now again, there's just enough supernatural intrigue here to steer the film away from silly erotica, and when you sprinkle in some Chinese ghost lore and some admittedly visually dazzling shots, it's pretty entertaining. But of course, that's not the end. The series continued with Erotic Ghost Story 3, which is, of course, another softcore variation of a classical Chinese ghost story here. A young guy enters a mural depicting 3 sisters. And now once he's in there, he gets to, of course, have shenanigans with a hot lady. But little does he know that she's a prisoner ghost under the control of an evil lady demon. These sex demons, they're an absolute menace. As with previous entries in the series, it's more of the same. But if you've got this far in the trilogy, then you'll find this is perhaps the most well-produced one. It's got some great music in the soundtrack, and visually the film's a pretty lush experience with detailed period costumes and sets that just do add to the atmosphere. Now, if you struggle to follow the plot here, and the pacing can be slow at times, the eerie atmosphere more than makes up for it, and ultimately the film's a bit of a guilty pleasure if you're a fan of the genre. Now, all these movies jump between being unsettling yet visually stunning in more than a few ways, and if you're in the market for a mixture of ghosts and demons and lust and vengeance, then I've got just the thing for you.